It's day 366, or 1 year and 1 day of, still don't really know what to call it. There's lots of different names. I think it could be called lots of different things. It could be called. Probably may never know exactly what to call it this period of time. But I can tell you one thing. This has been a mad old year. Like, what? I mean, a year ago today was my first day working from home. And and so much has happened. Yet at the same time, you can sort of think that not much has happened. Because today I got up, I went downstairs, had breakfast, turned on my laptop, and had a day of work. Stopped that day of work, put my laptop away, went for a walk, and now it's evening, and it's not too dissimilar to what that first day a year ago was. None of us thought that it was going to go on this long. Like, I very much thought it was going to be a long time. My view of long time was probably going to be a few months. I know we had a couple of bets going in the office as to how long everyone thought that it was going to be. And my bet of it being June before we went back to the office was the longest. And people were thinking like that was, oh no, definitely won't be that. Yeah, a year. How things have changed, I don't know, like how things have been in a year where people have not really seen each other. I think that's one of the defining points for me, is that this past year, most people have not really seen much of everyone in person. Yes, we've gotten used in a lot of ways the idea of meeting up virtually. What does that actually mean? Well, really all it means is a phone call, but this time we've got video on. And we've had phone calls for decades. So you can't really think that it's that different to some of the communication that we had before a year ago and before everything with COVID really started to impact our lives so severely. But it has shown me actually how social we are as humans, I think. Yeah, it's been difficult. Of course it's been difficult in so many different ways as well, and at different points. Like, there's been a lot of points, or there's been some points where it hasn't been that difficult. Or I'm not sure it hasn't been that difficult is the right word, but I guess hasn't been that bad. I've definitely had good days. Definitely had good days. Definitely had some good times last year. I still consider myself incredibly fortunate that I've had work, and that I've had work that I enjoy, and work that has supported me as well. I love my job. I get to chat to people all the time. And those that know me will know I quite like to chat to people every now and then. There are times when I also quite enjoy not chatting to people, and I like having my evenings to myself. I think I definitely need much more of a balance than the last year has shown me, where my evenings aren't just completely by myself. And thankfully, again, not all my evenings have been. I'd say maybe 25, 40% maybe I've been on calls with friends or family, or messaging people. Like, it's not like it hasn't been an antisocial year. It's just been social in a very different way. And it's been weird and interesting viewing the rest of the world through the lens of a pandemic as well. Because it's not like the news hasn't stopped. It's not like life and events and issues in the world haven't stopped. There's been some massive issues that have all kicked off. Personally, I think it's most of the issues that have been raised are issues that needed to be raised a long time ago. And some of them were raised a long time ago and then kind of brushed under the carpet for a bit, and they're only resurfacing. I think that's a good thing. I think there's things in the world right now that need to change and need to be better. I didn't really know where I was going to go with this, because it's hard to think and really reflect on a year in a video like this for me. And I definitely have come to the conclusion that I do these videos far more for myself than I do for anything else or anyone else. And so then to tell my future self in what might be a 10 or so minute video how life has been for me in the last year, that's impossible. God, no. But I can say that it's not been all bad. I look forward to more socialising again. I do miss the office, and I miss my friends. I really do miss my friends. Just being able to go and stay with friends in another part of the country, or go out with groups of people. I never really needed big groups, and I'm not too fussed even about I'm not that fussed about the rule of 6. Like, the rule of 4 would be fine with me. I had been more... the fact that I've been in the clinically extremely vulnerable category has made me be far more cautious than nearly everyone I know, and possibly even more cautious than I need to be. Probably more cautious than I actually even need to be. I've only seen since Christmas 3 people I know for more than an hour. Well, actually, no, 3 people I know for more than 20 minutes. Yeah. One of them was a friend that very kindly managed to drive me to get my jab, which was really cool. Got my vaccine jab in February, so I've got my 2nd dose in early May. That'll be another relief, actually. Like, having that first jab, it didn't really change my attitude that much. It certainly hasn't changed my day-to-day life in the past month. That much. I guess I've gone out a bit more. I've been happier walking more. Yeah, I really got to that level in January. When that latest lockdown hit, I stopped really going out. Stopped going out of my house. I know, mad the idea that actually for a year I've really barely been out of my, well, not quite 4 walls, but you know what I mean. It feels quite like a castle, and I've just been trapped in my castle. Thankfully, it's quite a nice castle. Got everything I need. It's not fancy, not spectacular and royal, but it's got everything I need. Food's been a bit unadventurous. Do really miss going to the supermarket. Oh my god. This is the level it's got, mate. Like, I miss going to a big shop and doing a big shop. Oh my god. like just having a bit of variety in what I eat. And this is coming from someone that spent a lot of weeks and months at university living mostly off tuna and sweet corn pasta with cheese. But what I didn't realise at that time was actually that even though that might have been my really common evening meal, during the day I would have snacks. I'd go out and have a sandwich, or I might eat at the Union, have fish and chips, hot meal, no, something cooked and prepared. Whereas everything for the past year I've had to prepare, which is, I mean, it's fine, you know. But it's made me appreciate a lot of simple things. Made me have a lot of gratitude for some of the bigger things. Interestingly, I haven't really missed holidays that much. Know a lot of friends that are really super keen to go away abroad and go back on holidays, and I hope for their sake that they can soon enough. For me, I haven't been too fussed. It'd be nice, but I far miss just going and seeing my friends. Yeah, I'd spend a lot of weekends. I realised I didn't really appreciate before how much of my spare time I actually did spend visiting people I knew and staying with people I knew, even if it was just for a day, meeting up with people at a park or in a country estate or some other activity. I didn't always necessarily do things that cost money and are expensive to do either. It was just being around people, going on a walk. Oh my god! Yeah, so that's one of the trips I haven't been able to do. I'm still waiting to do, is go on a trip with all my walking club friends. That didn't happen last year. Hopefully that'll happen later this year. I have good hopes. It's just a lot to think about. And it's really crazy to think that it just has been this long. And that it's not even letting up. Like, this countdown, this 366 days, day one was my first day working from home. And that's what I decided to kind of delineate for at least me on my timeline. Because that was, I knew was going to be the biggest change. Whatever happened before and whatever was to happen after, the idea that I wasn't going to be in the office for at least several weeks, I knew that was going to be a period of my life. And now to think that it's like, how many weeks in a year is it? Like 52? That is 52 weeks. And that it's already going to be a little bit more than that. I went on site once, but I didn't get to into my office. And I might go back on site for an essential work activity for 2 days in April, which is pretty cool. It's filming a project for one of our facilities for an outreach activity that we're doing, which is pretty cool. But it still might not, still might not be sort of regularly or at least semi-regularly back in the office until, I don't know, maybe June. And even right now, I wouldn't necessarily want to be back in the office, because what I miss most is, again, the people and just the chat, the general chat. I wasn't expecting this video to kind of focus on people as much, but then I guess thinking about it, that really is the biggest impact for the last year. I mean, I've been bubbled with my family with my parents for quite a bit of it. But even that, I haven't really seen them because I've just not been that comfortable for them as much as myself. Even though I know both of us have barely seen each other. And I guess that comes back to this idea of I've probably been overcautious. But I'd rather that than the consequence. So, you know. Ugh. And there's still more ripples to come. Because even when more normality returns, I take a very long view on all this. I do. Because at least that's what helps me. Like, I feel like I've managed to get through a lot of this year okay, because I have taken a long view. At least for myself. Everyone views things differently. Everyone has different ways of coping. For me, I find it quite difficult to deal with a disappointment, I guess. And so therefore, if I just don't think that something positive is going to happen, I can deal with it much more easily because everything then is neutral. And it's easier to kind of disassociate things. And live in my little bubble, live in my castle, live in my wonderful, nice castle. I mean, look at it. Got loads of books. And actually, I have been reading a lot more lately, which has been really nice. Spent far too much of this past year looking at a screen, which I'm doing right now, recording this. How hilarious and ironic. Whoops. But also just like watching TV in the evenings. Spend most of my day at work on a screen as well. But the last month I've been reading a little bit more, so that's been quite nice. A bit more slow-paced, a bit more chilled in the evenings and weekends. And nice to be learning some things as well. Yeah, I read a mix of kind of like fantasy and science books. At the moment I've been reading a little bit of history of science things as well, actually. In part trying to get an insight on how can I learn lessons from the past. But anyway, so yeah, I've got some nice books. There's my laptop, my computer, and the biggest saving grace of this year. Yeah, it's been so nice to be able to just completely zone out, whether it is watching TV or playing a video game. It's been really, really cool. And then all the way there, we've got my stereo and even my little mini speaker as well by the door that you can't really quite see. My thumb is sort of there. That's the little Bluetooth speaker that I use on my phone a lot. Been listening to a lot of podcasts the past year. I've discovered the beauty of a podcast. Mostly news podcasts because, again, I am very much realising I am still a news junkie. I don't think I fully appreciated, even before this, how much news I sort of paid attention to. But this past year, I enjoy listening to the news. It's not always positive, but I would rather feel informed and up to speed with different events and see what issues there are out there in the world to try and educate myself on some of those issues. I guess that's sort of what I see the news as. And then the other side of my news feel is I'm not necessarily sure it should be this, but a lot of the times the news is quite entertaining and not necessarily for a good reason. Boring news is probably better news for the world, but anyway, that's just how it's been. So, yep, got books, got TV and games on the computer, got music and podcasts behind me and on the windowsill. Got various plants that I have sort of tried to keep alive. They've kind of gone through a few iterations as time has gone on. But yeah, certainly one of them has been there for quite some time now, so it's nice that they don't all completely just last a few weeks and then go, because I don't really know how to keep plants. I think the one that's been able to survive is just a really low maintenance plant, so nice. Glad that one's still going. And then what else? Oh yes, the kitchen. Food, cooking. Let's go there, why not? So here we are. Here is the kitchen. I spent a lot of time in here. A lot of time in here. A lot of time there, actually. Washing up shit. The amount of time I've just spent washing up after making meals. Man, I didn't really realise that. Yeah, but also, I don't resent it, because actually that in itself is quite a therapeutic activity. It's an activity where I can just not watch a screen, not have to be around people, and I can chill, focus on getting that little dried on bit of porridge scrubbed off a bowl. Yeah. I mean, it's all things to kind of keep you occupied, and I realise it's just what life is. It's just living different moments that keep you occupied and fill up your time with different things. We just get to, on the whole, most of us get to choose how we fill those things. I feel incredibly lucky that I have that privilege to be able to say that most of the time I can choose what I fill my time with. Even this past year, I've had a lot of choices as to what I can do. Not loads and loads, and yes, there's been restrictions that have not allowed me to do XYZ thing, or advised me against doing XYZ thing. But I don't need 100 choices to make every day. I'm happy with making 10 choices or less. If nothing else, sometimes having too many choices, I've realised, can also be quite overwhelming for me. So one of the positives of this past year, for me at least, has meant that I've actually been able to, just not have to think as much about decisions that I make. I have definitely dwelt on some of those decisions, some of the small number of decisions, far too much, and extrapolated certain thoughts far too much than they probably should have been. We all go through bad patches, and mine tend to be related to overthinking certain situations, certain scenarios. But hey, we're all different. We're all people. We've all got thinking brains. Don't know what I'm going to do for the next month. Well, actually, no, for the next month's probably not going to be that different. Be interesting to see how things are in summer. What I'll be happy doing. I think I'll still be in a state where actually, even though I'll be vaccinated and a lot of the population will hopefully probably be vaccinated, at least towards the end of summer, I don't know how mentally prepped I'm going to be to rejoin society. That's a thought that I've focused on a lot, is the idea at several different points over the past year that I've felt, I have to rejoin society. Literally, I feel like I'm rejoining society at times because I have been isolated from the rest of the real world. I don't necessarily call all of the things I've done on screen and all of the news I've consumed as the direct world that's impacted me. Because, day to day, just been in these four walls, been in my castle. But I'm going to have to get to a point where I've actually got to socialise and learn to be around people, learn to hug people again. Man, I was such a hugger. I was a real hugger before. I would greet people all the time with a hug. Right now, I can't imagine that. Even though he's really close to me. Terrifies me. Yeah. The idea of actual physical contact, let alone social contact. God. Hey, even just social contact, being in a group of people. Like I still I managed to, for the last few weeks, get back on to a routine of doing a daily walk most of the time. And even then, I find myself really, really stepping back and stepping clear of strangers as I walk past. And even when it comes to delivery people that give me my shopping and all of that, I still feel like, I should probably be putting on a mask, even though they are definitely more than 2 meters away from my front door. I'm inside, they're out. But just the idea of being close to people, man, I'll tell you, it's been a mad old year. It's been a mad year. I look forward to a day when I can like look back at all of this and it seems to be in the past. And I think that's one of my goals. One of the things I look forward to. Yes, there'll be little bits here and there. I look forward to going back to a supermarket. I look forward to going around my parents' house. I look forward to being with friends in a pub garden over summer. But I think right now, I really do look forward to this being in the past. Being able to look back and watch these videos and go, oh wow, wasn't that a strange time? Glad that period went and gone. We'll get there. And I know we'll get there. And now, that is it. That is me rambling. This has been 25 minutes. This has been the longest one. But that might well be the last one. So, Niklaus, if you are watching this and you've made it all the way through 26 odd minutes of video, you know, you'll always be taking your hat off for yourself. Why do I even say that? I don't know. But yeah, Niklaus, I hope this probably will be the last one. Just because I'm not sure that anything is going to be that different anymore. You never know, maybe there'll be something coming up that will spur me on. Might be something minor. I might just decide to do a video for a day once at some future point. But hey, it's been interesting. Been quite cool doing a small number of these videos that I ended up doing. Didn't even know if I was going to do any more than one on that first day. I watched that actually earlier today, that first entry. Interestingly, I wasn't too shocked in a sense that, oh, that kid doesn't even know what's coming. But now we did, just didn't quite know the extent. But it will go, like I say. What will come will go, things will pass, life will move on. Circle of life. Everything comes back around. Everything moves on. Ramble, 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 ramble. I'm not even ready to finish yet. This is the thing. I think one of my points will be that when I get back to seeing people, I won't want to stop talking. Because I would have missed talking to people in person and proper. I can talk to people on screen and have conversations with different people, colleagues, friends, different groups that come to virtually visit us as part of our outreach for work and things like that. But I'm just gonna want to talk. Well, I said to myself that I was going to have a little bit of a celebration tonight, so I got myself quite a lot more ready meals, easy cooked food for this week. Got myself a few extra drinks in as well, some nice soft drinks, also some beers and some wine. So I think I'm going to tune off, open a bottle of sparkling wine, bit of fizz for the evening, and I think I've got an Indian ready meal pack as well. So yeah, it'd be quite nice to indulge a bit on this mad anniversary. The 18th of March is going to be a significant day for me for quite some time now, I think. Alright, Niklaus, this is it. I'm going to stop. This is now the end of the entry for day 366, or 1 year and a day of, I don't know what this is called. Later.